Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this episode I am making dinner. As you would have seen from the title, I am making stewed beef. So first thing you want to do is ensure that you cut off those fatty areas, and then you go in, slice your beef in small pieces, small chunks. I will be slow cooking, so you want to cut it in small enough chunks just to make it easier to cook. I always wash my meat with either lime juice, lemon juice, or vinegar. So of course we are making beef, so you have to ensure that it is properly seasoned. So I added some salt, some garlic herb seasoning, went ahead and added some all-purpose. Now you can choose the ones that you want, you don't exactly have to use these. And then I went in and added some minced garlic. I kind of like the flavor that it gets with the extra garlic. So yeah, you don't have to, but it's just my preference. Though I won't be adding the onion immediately to the beef, I will still go ahead and just chop it up to ensure that I have it there while the meat kind of soaks up some of the seasoning that I did add to it earlier. And at this time, you know, my eyes were burning, so I figured yours should burn too. I did add some spice though. This little piece of, I don't even know if it's Scotch bonnet pepper, but it does go a far way. Alright, so this part of it, I added coconut oil. You can use whatever oil it is that you use. And then you'll need to add the chunks of beef to the pot to brown. You're not cooking, you're just browning so you can have a nice color, because we are gonna slow cook. So again, you're not cooking, you're just getting the color. Once you catch some color on each of the pieces, then you can remove them. It does take a lot of time, but it's very necessary, so just take this part. And I know someone is screaming right now, oh my god, look at the pot. Don't worry, the pot will survive, just trust the process. After I removed all the chunks from the pot, I went ahead and added some balsamic vinegar to the mix, and then just added the onions. Now of course at this point you will realize that the vinegar does help to free whatever residue was left inside the pot. See, just trust it. You cover it up and allow the onions to cook a little bit. I added a can of tomato paste. If you do not have this, you can always substitute with ketchup. I also added like 2 tablespoons of sugar, not too much, we're just trying to add some flavor. Once you stir that up, you go ahead and add your chunks. See, nice and brown, not cooked, just brown. You add it, and then I went in and added some stock to it and some water, and then I just covered it up and let it start the cooking process. And if you did not believe me, here is proof that the pot did survive. While I allowed the beef to cook on the stovetop on medium heat, I did go in and peel my potatoes to add to the pot. So you just pretty much peel them, clean them up, and cut them into small chunks because they will be added later on. I did the same thing with the carrots, just clean them up and cut them into chunks. You do not have to use mini carrots, you can use the whole ones if you choose. I'm also having baked ripe plantains as a side, so I just cut them in two, really. Well, I sliced them in two after cutting like the whole plantain in like 3, because when you do them too thin, then they kind of dry out, and I don't like that. So then I just added that to the air fryer. Checked on my beef and then added more water, because it is a process where you add more and more water as you go along, so I just covered it back up and moved on to something else. Now, I don't know if you've tried adding cinnamon to sweet corn, but if you have not, you should try it. I did add a little honey for a little extra flavor, and it is so good. I left the corn to cook on slow heat for like 3 minutes. If you are preparing it on a stovetop, you need to pay attention to your beef to ensure that it doesn't get too tender before you add the carrots and the potatoes. This is the part where we wrap up. You just stir it all up and then you cover it so it can become tender. As long as the potatoes and the carrots are soft, you know you're ready. This part you can skip if you choose to, but it does add extra flavor. I added some red wine, not too much because I was really watching how much was going to be left in the bottle. Plus my daughter is going to have dinner, so you got to be careful, but it does add a really nice flavor. I did make some jasmine rice to have with it, and let me tell you, this was so good, nice and tender. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, so I went in and added my sides, and that's it. Dinner is served. Let me know if you would try this.
Like